Chapter 1. A Simple Life. Thomas lived in a small village surrounded by green hills and tall trees. He was a simple man with simple needs. Every morning he would rise with the sun, feed his chickens, and walk to the bakery where he worked. Though he never made much money, Thomas was known by everyone in the village as a kind and honest man. People often came to him for help. Whether it was a broken fence or a heavy load to carry, Thomas would always lend a hand without expecting anything in return. He believed that kindness was the most important thing in life. He lived in a small cottage that he had built himself using old wood and stones from the river. Though it wasn't fancy, it was warm and full of love. One day, as he walked home from the bakery, he saw a little boy crying by the roadside. Thomas knelt beside him and asked, "What's wrong, little one?" "I lost my dog," the boy sniffled. Thomas smiled gently. "Don't worry, we'll find him together." They walked around the village, calling out the dog's name. After an hour, they found the dog near the old mill. The boy hugged the dog tightly and looked up at Thomas with wide eyes. "Thank you, mister." "Anytime," Thomas replied with a warm smile. That small moment stayed in his heart for a long time. Later that week, Thomas visited the boy's family to check on them. They were struggling with money and could barely afford food. Thomas quietly left a basket of eggs and some bread on their doorstep the next morning. He never mentioned it. The boy's mother cried with gratitude. Thomas had always lived this way. His parents, who had passed away years ago, had taught him the value of honesty, humility, and kindness. His father used to say, "You may not have much in your pocket, but if your heart is full, you're the richest man in the world." In the evenings, Thomas sat by the fire and read old books or listened to the wind through the trees. His life was quiet, but meaningful. Children in the village would sometimes knock on his door to hear his stories about stars, animals, or how the seasons change. Once he fixed the roof of the widow next door without her asking. Another time he shared his last jar of honey with a sick neighbor. These acts were small but powerful. People began to feel safer and more connected because of him. Despite his modest life, Thomas never complained. He was content with what he had: a warm bed, a full heart, and a purpose. And to many, he was more than a man. He was the soul of the village. Chapter 2. The Stranger. One rainy night, as Thomas prepared for bed, he heard a knock on the door. He opened it to find a man soaked from head to toe, shivering in the cold. Without hesitation, Thomas stepped aside. "Come in, friend," he said. The man was a traveler who had lost his way. His name was Daniel. He had no money, no food, and no place to stay. Thomas gave him dry clothes, hot soup, and a place to sleep by the fire. They talked late into the night. Daniel shared that he had lost his job, his home, and almost his hope. Thomas listened quietly. When Daniel apologized for being a burden, Thomas shook his head. We all get lost sometimes, but no one is ever truly alone. The next morning, Thomas packed a small bag of food for Daniel and gave him directions to a nearby town where he might find work. As they said goodbye, Daniel looked into Thomas's eyes and said, "You've reminded me what kindness looks like. I won't forget this." Weeks passed, then months. One day Thomas received a letter. It was from Daniel. He had found a job and a place to live. The letter read, "You gave me more than shelter. You gave me hope. I've started helping others the way you helped me. Thank you for changing my life." Thomas read the letter twice, then folded it carefully and placed it on the shelf above the fireplace. He looked out the window and smiled. "Kindness travels," he whispered. That winter, Thomas began inviting others who needed help. A woman fleeing a bad marriage, a boy who had nowhere to sleep, and even a stray dog that refused to leave his doorstep. His cottage became a refuge, not just from the cold, but from loneliness and despair. And though he had little, his heart seemed to grow with every life he touched. Chapter 3. The Fire. One night, as the village slept, smoke began rising from the bakery. Flames danced in the darkness. The fire spread quickly, and soon the night was filled with shouts. Thomas woke to the sound of screaming. He ran outside and saw the bakery, the very one he worked in, engulfed in flames. Without a second thought, he ran towards it. The baker, an elderly man named Harold, was still inside. "My wife! She's still upstairs!" he shouted. Thomas didn't hesitate. He wrapped a wet cloth around his face and ran into the burning building. Through thick smoke and falling wood, he climbed the stairs and found Harold's wife, coughing and terrified. "Hold on to me," he said. They made it out just before the roof collapsed. Cheers erupted from the villagers. The baker wept in Thomas's arms. "You saved her," he said. Thomas shook his head. "We saved each other." That night he coughed from the smoke, and his hands were burned, but he never complained. The village came together the next day to clean up and support the baker. Someone asked him why he risked his life. He said, "I'd rather risk everything than do nothing." The village couldn't stop talking about his courage, but Thomas stayed humble. He went back to his cottage, sat on his wooden chair, and watched the sunrise. News of his heroism spread. People from nearby towns came to thank him, offer help, or simply meet the man who believed in doing the right thing. Thomas remained unchanged. He would say, "I'm just a man, but a man who believes that love and courage belong to everyone." Chapter 4. The Garden of Hope. Spring arrived in the village with blossoms and birdsong, and Thomas had an idea. There was a patch of land behind his cottage, long unused and overgrown with weeds. He decided to turn it into a garden, not for himself, but for the village. He started by clearing the ground, working long hours with nothing more than a spade and his bare hands. Curious children watched him from the fence. Eventually, they came closer and asked if they could help. "Of course," Thomas said with a smile. "This garden is for all of us." Soon the children returned with their parents. The widow from next door brought flower seeds. The baker donated wooden benches. Even the mayor, who rarely got his hands dirty, came by with a watering can. In a few weeks, what was once a forgotten patch became the most beautiful garden in the village. People came not only to admire the colors and scents, but to find peace. They read books under the trees, shared stories on the benches, and played music in the evenings. It became a place of laughter, comfort, and hope. Thomas named it the Garden of Hope. A small wooden sign stood by the gate, painted by the village children. One day, a woman sat on a bench, crying quietly. Thomas approached her gently. She had recently lost her husband and was feeling overwhelmed. "This place," she said through tears, "it helps me breathe again." Thomas sat beside her. Nature reminds us that life continues, even after loss. The sun still rises, the flowers still bloom, and so will you. Word of the garden spread. Schools brought students to learn about plants and kindness. People from neighboring villages visited just to feel the peace it offered. But Thomas asked for nothing. He tended the garden each morning and welcomed anyone who needed a place to sit, talk, or simply feel alive. One summer evening, the entire village gathered there for a celebration. Lanterns hung from trees, music filled the air, and children ran with laughter echoing across the flowers. The mayor stood and raised a glass. "To Thomas," he said, "for reminding us that beauty grows best when we grow it together." Thomas simply nodded, a little shy under the praise. He looked around at the smiling faces and whispered, "Hope is the seed, kindness is the water, and love is the sun." Chapter 5. The Letter. Autumn came, painting the leaves gold and red. One morning, Thomas found a letter in his mailbox, with handwriting he didn't recognize. Inside was a photo of a group of smiling children standing in front of a building that said Hope Center. The letter was from Daniel, the traveler he had helped long ago. "Dear Thomas, after leaving your cottage, I found work and rebuilt my life, but I never forgot your kindness. I started volunteering at a shelter, and now, with help from others, we've opened a center for children without homes. We called it Hope Center, in honor of what you gave me. Your kindness continues through us. Thank you for being the light in my darkest moment. With gratitude, Daniel." Thomas sat quietly, holding the letter. Tears welled in his eyes, not from sadness, but from joy. He placed the photo on the wall, beside the others he had collected over the years, small memories of lives he had touched. The villagers noticed the new photo and asked about it. Thomas told them the story of Daniel and the Hope Center. "It's not my achievement. It's the power of passing kindness forward." Children in the village began writing their own letters to soldiers, to sick neighbors, to strangers who needed hope. A simple letter had become a movement of compassion. Chapter 6. A Life Remembered. Years passed. The seasons turned, the garden bloomed year after year, and Thomas grew older. His hair turned white, his steps slower, but his spirit remained the same. One winter morning, the village awoke to find the door of Thomas's cottage slightly open. Inside, he lay peacefully in his chair, a book in his lap, and a smile on his face. He had passed away in his sleep. The village mourned, but they also celebrated. People came from far and wide, those he had helped, those who had heard his story, and those who had been inspired by his kindness. They held a memorial in the Garden of Hope. Each person brought a flower and a memory. Children read poems. The widow sang a song he once loved. Daniel, now older and grayer, spoke softly to the crowd. he didn't just change lives, he planted seeds of goodness that continued to grow. A statue was placed in the garden, Thomas holding a small plant, his eyes lifted toward the sky. On its base the words, "A kind man, a life of love." The garden thrived. People still came to sit and think, to laugh and cry, to find comfort. Thomas's cottage became a community home for those in need. His story was taught in schools, passed down from parents to children. Though he was gone, his legacy lived on in every act of kindness, every helping hand, and every heart that chose love over fear. Because one man with a simple life and a generous heart had shown the world that kindness never dies. It multiplies. Thanks for watching. Take action today, not tomorrow. Press subscribe. And let's keep learning together. You're doing great. See you in the next one. Stay strong.